Can you catch him? Can you look at him? Do you have the ability to weave and get to the house? And so he's been doing a really good job for us, man. I'm excited about him. I think his skill set is very unique because he's never played back there, but he has played receiver, right? And I always tell him, man, when the ball's in the air, you're a receiver. Like go and get it. And so it's still some fine-tuning things we got to clean up just because from a defense perspective, it's just a tad bit different, right? And just understanding situationally, understanding formations and what teams are trying to do to you, reading the quarterback, right? It's just a different standpoint. So I'm trying to do the best I can and make sure when week one does show up, he's ready.
What did you like about him in the first place to kind of make this move, to give that offer?
To be completely honest with you, we had been lobbying for this it was a year overdue, to be honest with you, just because he moved around really well. He was a good-looking kid. He was physical. He was really, really physical. And I know he had never played defense, but as a defensive coach, you just see things. It's like, man, this dude could easily make the transition, right? You see things, right, from an offensive standpoint. They got a couple of receivers who are really good on that side who you see him and like, oh, this dude be a really good DB, right? Like he has it, right? And not all receivers are like that. And so we saw him move around, saw him obviously in the weight room, right? Saw him change direction. And so for just from a movement standpoint, like that was pretty easy. Now it was like his level and his IQ of learning the game. But we were in spring practice. We had moved him to DB. He started off at corner, and he had two. I think he had an interception that was like so freaky, man. Like he spun around and like got leg whipped and caught a pick and took it to the house. And I'm like, okay, this dude's really good, right? And so let's move him a little deeper as opposed to having him in the corner, and the rest is kind of history, Coach had brought it up a couple times, you know what I'm saying? I know Coach McDonald didn't really want to lose him because he thought he was a high-value player for us, and he did some really good things. But I mean, the talent kind of speaks for itself, and I'm praying to God that he has a chance to showcase it this season for you guys, because we had Kirby the year before, we had Kendall last year. Again, I'm gonna speak for myself, but I just watching those dudes, he's just as talented as them, just from a skill set standpoint, right? And he has really good ball skills.
Wasn't Nicario Harper built up this year? Like, how's he progressed since he's been here?
He's done a good job, man. He's done a good job. I think one thing about Nicario, he plays so fast and so violent, right? I'm just trying to get him to process information really, really fast, but be quick, but not in a hurry. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think he gets so amped up sometimes, because he's a juice guy, man. Like that dude's what you want on the field, right? He plays 100 miles an hour, and he wants to hit anything moving, and so I love that about him. But you got to get him to slow down in certain elements, in certain situations, and understand what teams are trying to do to him, and he's coming along really well, man. It's a legitimate competitive battle back there in the secondary, and I'm excited as these next couple of practices and scrimmage take place, man, to kind of see how this thing shake out.
How important is it for you guys to figure that out? So many new faces.
Oh, it's very important, man. It's extremely important, because all these guys have a skill set, right? They all have a unique skill set, and it's a matter of, right, like who can we put in the best position, and who's going to give us the best opportunity to win. And so the more you watch them, like, right, can you trust them? Are they going to get properly aligned? Are they going to cut out the mental errors or we call them DBOs? Don't beat ourselves, right? Are they going to cut out the DBOs? And at the end of the day, right, like, do you have the mental capacity to want to hit somebody, tackle, and just do your job, and I think all of them have that, but it's just sometimes, right, some guys just decide not to do their job and do something else, and that's probably the most frustrating thing as a coach, right? But that's why you coach them, right? That's why you coach them, and so I'm just very pleased about the unit, right? Mac Resetich is also doing extremely well, and so we got some dudes back there, man, that it's gonna be a fight to see who those two guys at free and boundary safety are going to be, because it's a really good battle right now. So I'm excited about it.
First year as a play caller, do you take a little bit more away from scrimmages and 11-on-11 than some of the other coaches who don't have that responsibility?
I think absolutely. I think sometimes during a scrimmage, right, even during a game, right, you find out what you like to certain pictures, you find out what you don't like, you find out how do guys respond to certain things, right, and so without obviously having a game, you kind of get I'm having an opportunity to see kind of the whole picture a little bit in every position, but it's a tad bit different. At the end of the day, it's football, you know, and so I just want to put guys in the best position to fly around and just have some fun, man. I'm all about having fun. The way we have fun is we play competitive ball, we do our job, and we solve all our problems with aggression.
And what's the key for you as a coach to have those younger guys? And I know there's obviously the hurry of September 2nd, but like you can't really kind of force experience. Like, how do you find the middle ground there?
I think part of it is during the course of practice, like putting them in that pressure cooker, right? And so I'm loud when I hit the practice field. I want them to know I'm going to be loud, right? I'm going to try to distract them, right? Because in that stadium when we practice, I can control that environment, right? And so I want them to feel the pressure, right? I always tell my guys, have armadillo skin, right? Have very thick, tough skin. And for the most part, they all handle it really, really well. But I'm trying to put them in an environment that's controlled by me, especially on the back end. And I try to make it really hard for them, right? What's the proper alignment, right? Don't need you doing nobody's job but yours, right? Because once we hit game day, that environment can't be controlled by me, right? You're gonna have 80,000, 90,000, in some cases 100,000 fans yelling and screaming, and they say all kind of stuff, all right? From the field to the sideline. And can you handle your emotions, right? Can you get the call? Can you get lined up? And can you do what we've been asking you to do since you got here? And so I think part of that just comes with repetition, right? The 10,000 rep rule, right? Just constantly just doing your job, right? Every single play, right? And just being routine at it, right? It may get boring sometimes. And that's just life of a football player. And I think the way we make it fun is, you know, we get an opportunity to get an interception, you pick it off, and right, we get in the end zone, right? It's not fun when you're not doing your job, you know. And so just from a defensive standpoint, just trying to put them in the right position, allow them to understand the calls and defense and the why we do things. Why do we have this call? What's the weakness to that call, right? And just showing them the whole overall picture, which is going to allow them to, once they understand the overall picture, they can play a lot faster.